good morning and welcome to Ways Breakfast hashtag What Are You Saying? Thank you for joining us on this very special edition as Nigeria turns 65. Our team today is all hands on deck for a greater nation. We'll take this conversation in three parts. First, the headlines in our newspaper review, then a closer look at issues from different regions of Nigeria, and finally, Independence Day itself. The theme, the cancelled parade, and what this means for all of us as a nation. In other news, it's a new month and definitely another Ember month is about to unfold. Well, bringing you breakfast in bed, at the office, or anywhere you are in the world is No, let me introduce myself in the tribe that I represent. Otutu ọma o, ndewo no, Afambo Okikiola Taiwo Jaluko, and it's beautiful to be back here on this seat. Surely you know I'm never here alone. I'm sharing this table with my beautiful, ever-radiant co-anchors. I have Goodness Idehe and of course Triumph Akiboye, and they're going to be introducing themselves in the tribe that they represent. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And then
Inakwana Mutani, Nigeria. How are you doing this morning? Let's even start with that, right? So you're welcome.
Goodness, do this
Hey,
first.
tell me báwo ni o ṣe wà.
Come on.
Lelelelelelele ṣe wà. Ẹ káàárọ̀ gbogbo lé, orúkọ mi ni Goodness Osamagbe Ide nìkan.
Is it really dramatic if it's not the Yoruba tribe? But this morning we're all representing different regions in Nigeria. And many of us, I mean, none of us are even from any of these states, but it's important to show that Nigeria is one, especially at this time. So if you're tuning in for this first time, this is a show that talks about everything that concerns you. Yes, it's Waste Breakfast. Remember, you always be the main ingredient in all our conversations. So today we're looking at the way forward. So what are your thoughts on this? I want to hear from you. Our phone lines are open to you. You can call us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can subscribe now at Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button, like and share the link. Invite your friends to join. Tune into channel 145 on your GoTV and do not miss this. As you know, today in history is our own way of increasing your wealth of knowledge. So we'll go on a break right now. We'll return with the headlines. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly. Sure, glad to have you back. Well, all the way from Bayelsa, Luchi Speaks is saying, Otutu, oh, my wonderful people. Hello, Oluchi. I hope you're doing great over there. But right now, we'll be going straight into our newspaper headlines. We'll be highlighting the top stories from the pages of The Punch, The Guardian, and of course, The Daily Trust. Goodness is going to be taking us through our paper right now.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Ṣẹ́gẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Guardian newspaper láàárọ̀ yìí. Ní above the headline tó wà lórí Guardian.
I'm glad that you were able to switch.
Please relax.
All right, that was just on a lighter note. This is the Guardian newspaper, and above the masthead, we have the story that says, "Out of school children endanger Nigeria's security," and Obasanjo ones. That story is on page 6. And beside, we have, "At 65, it's time for Nigeria to reclaim her independence." The story, it's on editorial page 16, and beside we have, "Concerns over rising insecurity and abduction in the North Central." And the Guardian leads with a beautiful story this morning that says, "Nigeria at 65. Tinubu hails reforms, says worst over, urges unity and optimism." That's on page 6. And below there we have like a tree with the headline that says Greater Nigeria, Tinubu's building blocks. So we have about 9 building blocks, but I'm not going to be going through that. Just going through the story of the what the Guardian leads this morning. "Nigeria at 65. Tinubu hails reforms, says worst over, urges unity and optimism." And the President Bola Tinubu has declared that Nigeria is emerging from its most difficult economic period in recent history, insisting that the bold reforms introduced by his administration, right, are now producing measurable results across key sectors. So we have, according to him, the economy is now on a strong recovery path. That's with the gross domestic product, GDP growth, reaching 4.23% in the second quarter of 2025, which is the fastest in 4 years and ahead of the International Monetary Fund's projection of 3.4%. And the inflation, he added that it fell to 20.12% in August this year, 2025, which is the lowest level in 3 years. And while efforts to increase food production and improve security are beginning to reduce prices. Mind you, this last statement I read yesterday, we talked about how the value-added tax has been removed from the transportation and food to ease the burden and cushion the poverty rate in the country.
Thank you very much, Goodness. I think today I particularly want to be on the side of hope.
Yeah.
That renewed hope agenda thing, because it's every day you wake up talking about problems. Even on the newspaper, there's a lot of problems. Nigeria is always full of something to talk about. And just recently we had Somto Chukwusomi, who died on September 29th. And people started wrapping it around how failed Nigeria is, how flawed the system is. And if you really look deeper, it is flawed by certain events that happened before her death or following her death. So I just want to be on the side of hope. What's the way forward? And that's why we're having this conversation today. What's the way forward for us Nigerians? So I'll just allow Triumph start her paper, maybe with a bit of good news, if we can.
I don't think so. In fact, what I wanted to talk about, but today is a good day. Today is the first day in the month of October. We are also celebrating the Independence Day. So I think we should, I should try to look away from some other things and then maybe resume tomorrow.
We need positive news.
Okay, so let me take you through what is going on in Daily Trust. So I think one thing that is similar to every papers this morning is the fact that we are celebrating Nigeria at 65. A 65-year-old, there are certain things that it is expected of them. A 65-year-old, there are certain things that you know that somebody who is 65, these are the kind of things that they should have achieved. These are the kind of things that they should have been able to do. Of course, we are growing, right? Whether we want to agree or not, we would say we are growing. But unfortunately, the things that we want to see, the things that we want to, the actual things that, should have characterized us as somebody who is 65 or as a nation that is 65 years old, we find this thing wanting. We can't find most of these things. But we're celebrating Nigeria at 65. And, this one is coming from Muhammad Abubakar Adamu. That's the CFR. He's saying that as Nigeria celebrates its 65th independence anniversary today, I wish to congratulate the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Nigerians at home and in the diaspora. As a nation, the milestone is not just a reminder of our history, but also a call to unity, resilience, and renewed commitment to building the Nigeria of our dreams. So let us embrace this moment as an opportunity to renew our faith in Nigeria, deepen our unity as a people, and remain steadfast in building a nation where justice, peace, and prosperity are shared by all. Let me say that the fact that he mentioned that we should use this moment as an opportunity to renew our faith in Nigeria. I'm like, is the election that is going on? Is it not just, are we not just celebrating the Independence Day? But well, this is our country. I think Chema was mentioning yesterday that no other person can be Nigerian as we are. So it is still our country, regardless of whatever happens, regardless of whatever goes on. Nigeria is still our country, and we have hopes that it is going to be better, and we are hoping to see more of the expectations of the 65 years.
And even work towards it.
And even work towards it.
Generally. So on the lighter note, I've seen cases where, yes, you said no, we can be better Nigerians than Nigerians themselves. Mm-hmm. And I see if you go on X Space and all of these social media platforms, if any other country tries to insult any tribe or Nigeria as a whole, you will see the way Nigerians will come for them. It's only Nigerians. They've said it's only we that have the right to insult ourselves and then also fix ourselves. So I believe that as much as we have highlighting the problem, which is very important, first is to identify the problem and, of course, find solutions, long-lasting or sustainable solutions in that sense, because Nigeria has a way of doing that patch things. But the Punch newspaper has elections. Actually, I don't know if I should talk about Dangote refinery issue or the elections, but let me just go straight into INEC chair, because 2027 has been on the lips of everyone. And it's saying here that DSS screens nominees, council states to meet as we look forward to the 2027 election. I hope today also serves as a day for us to reflect, you understand, on our choices for 2027. 2025 passed us by. 2023 passed a lot of people by. I hope 2027 is going to be the moment. Since everybody's picking moments, I hope 2027 is going to be the moment where we actually choose a leader, that's going to work for the betterment of Nigeria in general. But that's all we have on today's papers. Clearly, Nigeria 65 is facing big issues, from rising price to security. But the beauty of this is that each country, each region has its own story, and we are, as Nigerians, going to tell our own stories, the struggles and the strengths, and that's where we are heading next. We'll be right back after this break with our hot topic, so do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show, where we have comments buzzing. Charlene Edwards is saying, good morning, Ways ladies. And we have C's Connor saying, y'all all look really gorgeous. Thank you. Anyways, our topic for today is Nigeria at 65, or hands on deck. Now, at 65, Nigeria is a federation of diverse regions, each with its own realities, with each taking one region to focus on. So let me start off first with the Northwest. The Northwest has unfortunately become the epicenter of banditry and kidnapping. According to SBM intelligence, between 2011 and 2024, more than 4,800 people were kidnapped for ransom in the Northwest, with billions of naira paid out. Schools have been forced to shut down in places like Zamfara and Kaduna, and this will cause the mass abductions of students. Farming has also become disrupted, contributing to food inflation nationwide. But here's the other side of it. Communities have been resilient. So military operations have recorded successes like Operation Hadarin Jaji, and local vigilantes are working hand in hand with security forces. So even in hardship, people are fighting back. But I'm sure this is not peculiar to only the North. Now, let's look at other places. If goodness, could you help us with the Southwest? What are the key issues that you have identified in the Southwest, and what resilience strategies have you been able to highlight?
Okay, concerning the Southwest, we have one of the major issues that was the NSAS protest and the Yoruba agitation. So concerning the NSAS protest, which was basically a central in Lagos, that was in the Lekki toll gate, we have the Gen Zs and the millennials who actually led this protest. We even have some activists like Fowles, Mr. Macaroni, DJ Switch, and also involving the Nigerian police, especially the SARS and the security forces. So this protest demanded was against the brutality, police brutality, unlawful detention, extortion, and killings. And with this, it also expanded to other borders that demand for good governance and accountability with police reforms. So just note that concerning this EDSAS focus, basically, it started that was in 8th of October 2020, which had the peak that was in between 10th and 20th of October 2020 as well. And the inflection regarding that was the massive killing at the Lekki toll gate shooting. And we had several areas like the Surulere, Alaunsa, Ujuelegba, that was also more focused on that particular point, where we even have the protests that extended internationally. We had people in New York, London, Toronto, who also joined in the protest. So the long history of this is just concerning the NSAS, I beg your pardon, was to stop the police brutality, harassment of youth, which was very common, specifically even in Lagos. We've discussed this on this table several times, and the unlawful killings. And we look at the deep frustration, but going away from that, the aftermath of the NSAS basically was that there was massive killings, there was government denial versus high witnesses, they had an evidence-packed outreach. Then when it was moved to the judiciary arms of our country, Nigeria, we had states like Lagos who set up panels to investigate this police brutality. And looking at the civil society impact, it became a symbol of youth activism. Like since the start of that NSAS, we had more of youth coming to make use of the new media, which is the social media, to come out to talk about any injustice or any wrong thing in the society. And we had a political fallout that was inspired more among Nigerian youth to engage politically. You know, they wanted to be more involved in making certain decisions in the country. Then looking at the next issue around the Southwest, that's the Yoruba Nation agitation. This was basically led by Sunday Igboho, who is an activist, and Professor Banji Akitoye, both of them are activists, and they were Yoruba self-determination groups with their supporters.
Will you say activist or self-proclaimed? Because there are certain things
self,
that we have to say.
Self-proclaimed.
Yes.
But you know, Sunday Igboho is a more popular person in the country that always fights for anything that has to do with this Yoruba region stuff due to the Nigerian federalism system, where different states, because of probably the land mass and everything, have a separate allocation in the House, that's in the Senate House. So that was the major issue, where we have these people that were involved in this Yoruba agitation were the Nigerian police, the DSS, and even the other security forces. So their movement was to demand a separate Yoruba nation, citing insecurity, marginalization, and poor governance. That was the basic focus of the Yoruba agitation movement. And it rose strongly around 2020 to 2021, gaining momentum. That was after the NSAS and even amid rising security. And we have rallies across the Yoruba state like Lagos, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ekiti, Ondo, and even those ones in the diaspora and the US. And a reason behind all this was, like I mentioned, dissatisfaction with the Nigerian's federal structure, perceived marginalization of the Southwest, and frustration and insecurity looking at the herdsmen, the farmers' clashes, and even kidnappers. And they were able to do this with their rallies, town hall meetings, petitions to the United Nations, even mobilization via the traditional media like the newspaper, you get. Then they also made use of the social media and campaigns, and there was this confrontations rather with security agencies at that time. So one of the solutions, or will I call it a restructuring of the Yoruba agitation. First, let me start with what restructuring means in Nigeria. Restructuring refers to reorganizing Nigeria's political and economic system to give more powers, resources, and autonomy to the federating unit, that's the state and the region. So at present, Nigeria, basically, we operate a highly centralized federal system where power is centralized at the upper level, then power is partially centralized, that's when it comes to the state level, and decentralized in the local, that's why we have the local government, local level. So their argument was that this structure stifles development and even encourages corruptions and fuels ethnic tension. So that was one of the major arguments of the Yoruba agitation. And they were able to find about the true federalism, which returned, they had to go back to the pre-1966 arrangement where regions like North, East, West, Midwest had substantial autonomy. And we also had the state regions who would probably like control their resources, like the agriculture, minerals, and taxation. So let me just leave it there.
You have said a lot of things. What I really want to get from that summary is that we have highlighted the problems, or I will not say problems because it might sound like an issue, like a personal issue to some people. The NSAS was a very big one for youths in general until by October 8th, by October 20th, we're still going to celebrate another year of Lekki massacre, as said. So what has changed after that time for the Southwest? That's what I wanted to really get.
I made mention of it. I said we had more of the youth indulging in political actions in the country where they want to precise and contribute to the development of the country, not just leaving it for the political leaders. Okay. As at that time, even the general election that followed that, we saw how the youth came out to want to vote, to decide for their country. So that brought about full youth participation.
Now, let me even talk about the fact that, let's talk about the NSAS itself. I mean, we don't have NSAS the way we have it now. It might look like maybe at that point, maybe the NSAS did not really work, but they did not get whatever it is that they wanted. But it's really silenced that thing. It is not the way we have it now than the way we have it then, which I must, I'm not commending, with people's lives, but I think that they were able to achieve that. The youths were actually able to, voice out what they wanted, and then they were able to get it. Because since that time till now, I mean, NSAS had to,
people are even more aware of their rights as Nigerians. What is expected of the police to ask of you, what you're expected to ask the police, the kind of conversations you are allowed to record when a police officer, is a police officer allowed to search your phone? Are you allowed to go to the station without proper warrant? And I think one time on the show, you were discussing about warrants and all of that stuff. So these, for me, when I was thinking about what NSAS has done, and even I might not be able to talk about the Yoruba nation agitation because I will always be for one Nigeria. Biafra has tried. We are still
together
in that issue. There's still an issue which I'm sure I would love to hear Tramps talk about. But one Nigeria will always be what I'm going to be clamoring for.
But
so I feel like
there is an addition to that. This SARS, that's the second arm of the Nigerian police that was created then. I think we discussed it one time when I made mention of the 7-Up target there. That I saw some, I call it a shady stuff, where this SARS, as at then, we the youths, they fought against it to remove these SARS people. But I think of recent this year, that was last month that we discussed about this. I still saw these people.
The good thing, what I want us to pick is that the good thing is that we are more aware than ever.
We are more aware.
Yes.
You
And then
can notice
these
that
agencies,
because you can notice that because you know that this is not supposed to be there, and that was first of citing that problem. The solution now is that you have cited that problem. If at all there's anyone around there, if at all there's an agency you need to report to that, okay, shady business has started here again, is already booming somewhere, that it seems like everything has silenced out. That is the power of us Nigerians, and also knowing that you picked the notion to say this is not supposed to be here, this is not allowed
Creating
here.
that awareness.
Yes, exactly. And Lagos,
And even speaking up.
and it really made these agencies actually quiet down,
yes.
honestly, whether we
and
like
then
it or not.
have a conversation
They
this
have a
time around.
conversation.
Before the police
Even
just
the
say
boldness
enter the
to
car,
confront
then
the
we
police,
drive
but
you.
now
Now
you would
against
have
they
to
will
arrest
prove
explain
some points to me
exactly.
why I
You
should
must
follow
prove some
you.
points to me why you're taking me. But
they
the
were
good
able
thing is
to
that
achieve
Lagos never sleeps, and even in crisis, the Southwest has showed us, as you mentioned, civic energy and innovation can coexist.
And full
So,
political
of course,
participation.
yes, exactly. Political participation has been one of the biggest things that we have seen Nigerians, even Nigerian youths,
Indulge in it.
participate in. So, yes, Triumph, can you quickly take us through?
Okay, let me take you through. I'm going
What's
to
happening
try
in the
what's
Southeast?
happening in the southeast. I'm going to try to also, get to the southwest, south, right? Since they are almost related, not exactly related, but I'm just going to be picking everything together. All right. So let us start with what is going on there. Okay. So in the southwest, we have the Biafra, and this has been like a serious issue, which has been going on, right? Let's talk about the South-South, the Niger Delta militancy, oil spillage. And in the Southeast, too, we had popular issues like the IPOB, the ESN agitation for Biafra, the sit-at-home orders. And this IPOB, you remember that even the present IPOB leader right now, that's Nnamdi Kanu, is still, having to face detention on alone just because of them clamoring and wanting for a particular thing and wanting the fact that, okay, I want this, I want to be like this, I want to be this, I want to be that. And this is something that, has been happening. And it has been like a whole lot. It has been a whole lot. So what I really wanted to say as regards, the Biafra is that these things has actually posed, challenges to our security. It has posed challenges to our security, economic disruption, talk about the political marginalization. When we talk about the security challenges, this Biafra IPOB, whether, like you mentioned, what we want is one Nigeria. So the moment somebody is thinking that, oh, I can decide to do anything I want, I can decide to, I want to be a part. One thing I always, think about while growing up, one of the things I used to think about, as a child, is that why do we have, different parts? We have 36 states, we have the North, we have the South, we have Yoruba, we have Igbo. I think for a start, this is like the cause of the problems that we have, as a country when it comes to agitation. We have agitation, in Yoruba. We have it here, Biafra and all of that, IPOB. So I think the fight for more Nigeria is what we should continue to talk about, is what we should continue to do. Because without that, we will not be able to achieve, we will not be able to get things done. And let's talk about the people that have been affected with this Biafra thing, the IPOB thing, the security challenges that it has actually posed to us. So it's just like a whole lot of things put together, and let's keep with one Nigeria. Honestly, if you would ask me, let's just keep with one Nigeria.
And the figures are, of course,
okay, I wanted to add to what she was saying concerning the Biafra, because I know a little bit of history behind it. And I think the Biafra War was what led to the Nigerian Civil War. That was in 1967 to 1970. And it was one of the major frontiers was Ojukwu.
Yeah,
who
Ojukwu.
during the time and era, he had to even leave, abandon his own people, because the intensity was very hot. And there was even a breakout of a disease then. That was why I even wanted to make mention of, not even a disease, sorry, a nutrition deficiency known as kwashiorkor, because there was this like a siege where, the Biafrans, they were in a particular region. And since it was like a Nigerian civil war, they had to camp there and can't go out. So as a lack of food, water, their basic amenities led to nutrition deficiency. And concerning the Biafra War, it has always been an issue, even in the Senate House, where they are always fighting for their own independence, you know, trying to have their own ruling system. And they had really pushed in for what they call confederalism. That's confederalism is a system where at the local units, power should be more centralized at the local units than at the central, at the top unit. So that was one of the contributions I just wanted to add, just to make it more
Thank
spicy.
you very much, Goodness, for those strong figures and taking us back in history. But you just imagine the potential if this sit-at-home orders even ended. Every Monday, people just have to sit at home just because. I don't get it. I know that they are fighting for, but even the people who live there no longer want to sit at home on a Monday because they know that it has not led anywhere. There's always going to be the faction of people who will say we are still fighting, we are still doing this, we are still doing that. But in the long run, if we start to weigh, you know, the advantages over the disadvantage, especially where Nigeria is at now, the fact that we're even starting to have external you know, bodies come in to form some terrorist group and all of that stuff. We need to start that togetherness.
That togetherness
This
is really what
that's
we
unity.
need.
It is now. So the Southeast could be anything. It could be a massive engine for Nigeria's economy. But we've seen it: insecurity in the Northwest, activism in the Southwest, and even resilience, you know, of the people of the Southeast. After the break, we have. And we will tie all of this together with Nigeria at 65, the cancelled Independence Day parade, as many people know, and what all hands on deck really means for us. So we'll be right back in a minute. Please stay with us.
Our native land, our sovereign land, a land where great men are made. Nigeria, the land of promise, promising to give our children the future, the youth the fruit of the land, and the old a place to call safe. Safe for all seeking greener pastures, and even Africans. Yes, we are the giant of Africa. Just look around. The mother of great creativity. What about games? Undefeatable. Resources bountiful.
Even the Guinness World Records doesn't have enough to keep record of our abundance. Let's raise a white flag in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. Ants joined with the others in all weathers, crawling, walking, and running to building a greater nation. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Welcome back to the show, and what you just watched was a beautiful rendition from Goodness and, of course, Triumph. Clap for them, yeah! I hope you go back after the show to watch that and maybe screen record that and
Part.
you know, screen record that part and then share to many people so that people can get inspired to be part of Nigeria. Well, as you know, Nigeria is 65. We have said it over and over again. Nigeria is 65 today, and the official theme is all hands on deck for a greater nation. But this year is very historic For another reason, for the very first time in decades, the Independence Day parade has been cancelled. The government says it's a cost-cutting measure, but it raises questions. What exactly are we celebrating when insecurity, high cost of living, and disunity are still with us? Perhaps the cancelled parade is symbolic, a call to move from fanfare to substance. Because I believe if we want a greater nation, security must improve, inflation must come down, our leaders must start to listen to citizens. But citizens too must play their part, from holding leaders accountable to paying taxes to building communities. Goodness, what does all hands on deck mean to you?
Everyone involved, togetherness.
Togetherness.
Let me use that word. So togetherness, unity, people coming together to achieve a common goal. So sharing a common goal, sharing a common perspective. Put it that way.
Okay, okay. What
All
about you?
hands on deck. All hands on deck, you know, to me, what it means to me is that everyone is responsible. Nigeria is not just about the president. Nigeria is not just about the politicians. Nigeria is about everybody. So when all hands are on deck, sometimes I wonder, there are certain situations, certain things that, you know, you just wake up online and then you see something trending. Sometimes it's not even about those people in political power. It's about the people that are sleeping next to you. It's about the people that are living next to you, the people that are staying around you. Some of the things that happens that you can't even look away from. You're wondering that what's going on. And we are clamoring. We are shouting for a better Nigeria. If a better Nigeria can't start from us, from each person, taking responsibility of doing the right thing, being patriotic, following the laws, that it feels like, you know, not everybody is...
Following traffic rules.
Following traffic.
As simple as that.
As simple as that, honestly. Yeah. Do you know that when I came to Lagos, I actually realized, although they don't, not like every one of them follow it from time to time, especially, this is a day for me to actually call out, you know, these public transport riders. Honestly, these people don't have shoes. Walk whatever kind of shoes. Once they see that thing, whether it is red or green or yellow, whatever color they are going, you can't stop them. So Nigeria starts with you. Nigeria starts with everybody, each person being responsible. It also starts with showing how to be responsible. You know, it's a different thing to be responsible. It's a different thing to be showing how to be responsible. Sometimes when we do things, when we do good things, sometimes I am not doing it for a good thing. I am doing it so that somebody can see that I actually did this particular thing. So that by the time it's your turn to do it, I am not expecting that you do something else. So Nigerian, all hands on deck, everybody is responsible.
Thank you. I think I completely agree with you. One thing I have realized is that we have a character problem in Nigeria. We talk about leaders so often that the moment that power gets into your hands, you're going to do the exact same thing, even worse. First is the lack of information. I don't care. They're like, I don't care about, this thing doesn't concern me. What the rule says doesn't concern me. I'm not in the energy sector. What concerns me with what happens with, you know, PACN and their rules. I'm not in this sector. I'm not. So the fact that we are less concerned about things that are particular, things that actually directly or indirectly affect us, the policies, everything that happens in Nigeria affects us. Sometimes I find it funny when maybe I ask, maybe not funny, but I find a way to encourage people to read the Nigerian constitution. Very flawed constitution, but that's a constitution that probably will guide us for another 10 years. Yeah. There's a constitution review going on. How many people know that there is a constitution review going on? How many people are involved? I mean, they know. How many people are involved? How many people are following? How many people are also taking it as a responsibility to inform other people who don't know? There are some things that I always call too much English. When I go to a program and I'm hearing the cumbersome of it, sometimes there's just one person there who wants to listen to everything, summarize, and then give it to the layman. Some people use it as a skit. Some people use it as whatever to get the people informed. That's why I appreciate people like Lai Wasabi, all of these people, and what's this other guy's name that tells you what does the law say. So this sort of helps Nigerians he took that as a responsibility that in my capacity, I will inform Nigerians. The profit that comes from it is not what we should be concerned about, because most times they say people are doing it for the money, people are doing it for whatever reason they're doing it for. But for the fact that I am getting informed by the information that you are giving me is enough reason for me to call you a Nigerian enough. If you are giving me any other information that doesn't lead to whether it's the best BBL in the world that you're telling me about or other things, I don't consider you as giving me enough information. But that, for me, is enough. Like the fact that you have decided that I'm going to start skating, I'm going to start doing this, and it's going to be for the purpose of informing Nigerians of what their rights are, of maybe helping them to make better choices in terms of activism, politics, whatever thing that you have decided to do. That's why I really appreciated the fact that you spoke about responsibility and you spoke about togetherness. If we don't intentionally say, right? Which means a dead person cannot hide from the person that's going to wash the body. You cannot hide from a mortuary attendant. That's the only person that can do it for you. So when we know, I feel like we already know that we are naked, bare naked at this point. The whole world knows that something is wrong with Nigeria. Just few minutes, some weeks ago, there's been trends of this agitation of Christian killings and all of that stuff. There have been issues with FEMA header clashes. There have been issues with more kidnapping, banditry, and also we are like our file nyash have open. Everybody knows that there's a problem, but what are we going to do about it if all of us can only talk about the problems that we are facing and never the solution? We don't have, in fact, just call 30 Nigerians. Everyone will say something about Nigeria as the problem. But when we talk about solutions, everybody too can give worldly solutions. When it comes to groundwork, where are we Nigerians?
And, you know, this brings me to actually say something that sometimes people really need to understand that. I mean, we always come out to say that, oh, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done something again. Oh, this particular politician is the one. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, that. The way people are talking about politicians, they are talking about the rich people, they are talking about different things. They just, I feel like, you know, there's an agenda on social media that once the day breaks, there is something, you know, to feed. There's something that people are supposed to feed on. Meanwhile, you have decided to leave those people. Meanwhile, all the things that you're talking about, you know, as regards these people, are things that actually do happen to you. Things that you have that default in you, and then you're talking about it, or you are actually dragging a politician about it.
Because my own sin is not as big as the other person. Everybody sins, but I know how to judge your own sin.
How? You're not taking care of yourself.
I can tell you that because you collect money in exchange for your body, it could mean that you're doing a grievous sin. Meanwhile, I lie every single day, which is just another sin. But then we're all, it's a character problem.
And this is something that Nigerians should really understand. And there's something that someone used to say to us. The person would tell us that an ant in Nigeria will be an ant everywhere. If you're a lion in Nigeria, you'll be a lion wherever you get to. The platform is just there to maximize who you are. The platform is there to expose you. So if you as a Nigerian, now you are indulging in certain things, you know, you don't have any political affiliation, you don't have any political position, but just between you and maybe your family members, you people are doing all stuffs. When you get to that platform, it is that platform that will actually expose who you are. It's not like maybe, usually it's not like maybe, of course, we know that some people as they're growing, you know, in power and you get to change the kind of person you are. But usually it starts from who you are, and that is what gets exposed. So before you actually critique, before you criticize, not even critique now, before you criticize someone out there, you take a look at yourself and take care of it. Somebody will always tell me something. You see that thing that you don't take care of, it is what will eventually expose you.
Just like adding to what you said, from where you made mention of somebody out there, before you criticize someone, you think about yourself. I will leave them with this proverb or with this saying that said, those who live in glass house should not cast stones. Because if you cast out stones, you yourself will also be affected. And yet that the theme is talking about all hands on deck, togetherness, responsibility. We should all share. There is a picture I want to create where we see that majorly Nigerians are very, they're not really, like, they take that. I don't really know. For instance, let's say there is an issue that happened along the way. instead of you to seek an immediate help, we have found of, like, call it, is it the youth problem? Pick up phones to make videos, to make this. We're talking about togetherness. We're talking about unity. So if you see your brother, if you see your sister, and they're in a particular trouble, in a particular situation, you lend an helping hand. And that's how we promote peace. And that's how we also promote unity. You look out for each other. That's one thing.
There's really already enough people doing a video. Be the one that calls the 911.
That's
whatever.
what I'm saying.
And people
Providing
solutions.
solution.
Some people have said that the emergency number doesn't work. I've tried it a few times. They have picked. They have listened to me. I just called, which is not a good thing to call, but then just for me to also confirm that these toll-free lines work. I have called. I have had a conversation, with some of these people, and then it works.
So
I think it's just depending on the level of sensitization.
I really need to talk about this SOMI issue. It was reported that the police patrol that came said that they had no fuel in their car to take her to the
nearest
hospital, the nearest hospital. The problem was, right there, at that point, who called an ambulance? Who called a toll-free line to get... It's beyond just calling out the police, the Nigerian, the this, the that, whatever it is that was happening right there. Who did something differently than all of the problems that were there?
That have to do with deal with culture issue. In Nigeria, it has eaten deeply inside us that once something happens like that, we don't really have this fast thinking of what should we do next. How can we save this particular situation? How can we save life? And that's why we are here on this table. Something like this today, we're talking about all hands to be on deck. So when you see something of such, right, it is important for you and for everyone listening to us that you need to look for the next solution to create a next solution to tackle that particular issue. So for instance, probably somebody lost something. Okay, let me give you a scenario of something that happened to me, which was very annoying. I lost my purse, my wallet, not too far from where I boarded my a bus. And something just told me, just go back and go and look for it. Normally, if we were together, if we were all Nigerians, if we were all brothers and sisters keeper, if we were all united, if we love one another, immediately my purse or my wallet fell. I'm sure somebody saw it. Because when I went back, they took all the whole money
and left the
wallet.
They saw that it was such an expensive letter. You just had to have it. You just have to have it
wondering. So please, that is why I feel the president even created this tagline, and I could even recollect when he changed the national anthem. He said he made a statement, a cogent one, where he said the previous national anthem was really doesn't really portray that we are willing to serve our country. It was more like a duress because it was during the military era, and that was one of his basic reasons why he had to change the national anthem to our current national anthem, which portrays that we need to come together. If you look at the three stanzas of our national anthem, rather, it speaks about love. It speaks about we coming together to tackle insecurity issues in the country, where in the second stanza they made mention of giving our flags to our children. We should not make it bloody and everything. And also speaking to our own supernatural beings, our fathers, because we can't exempt them in human lives, right? They are also part of people that they know the future of how things are going to work. So bringing all of them together and coming on forming a united nation. I feel that's why we even have a United Nations organization. Everyone coming together to fight for a particular cause. Because if different people several citizens have different goals, we are going to be working in the opposite sides. Because I have a different goal, you have a different goal, she has a different goal. But the essence of this, and also one of the essence of having our independence, is why? Equality. We should enjoy the freedom of being free from these struggles and everything, coming together to be united, to fight for the same cause, the same goal, and to achieve the same result.
One thing that this popular content creator, I don't know if you know him, Tobe Season. So Tobe Season was he has been doing some kind of tours, tourism, traveling from one state to the other, the northern side, to actually show the good side of Nigeria, which is a very nice one, a very great one, a very commendable one, right? But Nigerians, have been dragging him. Let's accept that regardless of whatever people do, Nigerians will still drag you, all right? Mm-hmm. But it brings me to actually see the fact that as Nigerians, we are not even interested in positivity. You see that name positivity with Nigeria?
That means travel faster.
It travels faster. And then they are dragging him that maybe he's not talking about the fact that something is not working. Yes, we know that it's not working. But let us not also forget that there is a Nigeria that we should be able to show on the global stage. Regardless of whatever is going on in our country, you know yourself. You know that even though you have lapses, you have some problems, you don't put that out. You don't put that out on social media. So why should we keep... I'm not saying that you shouldn't come out to say Nigeria is not, you have an expectation. But sometimes let us celebrate when things are happening. Let us celebrate when things are going on. So that way we can actually promote a Nigeria that is working, not looking away from what is not working, but in a place where we get to celebrate something that is good. Please, let's celebrate it.
Thank you very much, Tramp. Goodness, you have...
Yes, so I'm just taking a little few words from our present national anthem, and that's like a wrapping word for me. It says that, and I'm putting out there to everyone, yes, Nigeria is a country where we have several tribes. So in the first stanza, I said, even though tribes and tongues may differ, we should all stand in what? Oneness. We should all be, we should all come together. There should be a brotherhood in it. And lastly, in the second stanza, I talked about making the country a proud place for us to stay and even safe for our children. So this is one of the things we should look out for as a Nigeria. Always have that mindset whenever you're going out. Let me do something that will make my country proud and that will make me to have that feeling that I'm staying in a country that is good
like the
and
Guinness
working.
World Record,
yes.
like whatever that you want to do, let's always be proud to say that.
We should have peace and also looking at justice.
Thank you very much. If I want to quickly take it back to the cancellation of the parade, I believe that a lot of people have complained that it means that everything has ended. Nigeria, doomsday, what's the trumpet is about to blow, it is the end of the world and all of that as well. But I don't think that the cancellation of the parade is the end of, the celebration. Yeah. Maybe it is a wake-up call for us Nigerians, just like Goodness and even Trump have mentioned. At 65, it's time for less ceremony, trust me, and more results. And all hands on deck now starts to mean that leaders, citizens, youth, every region pulling together for one Nigeria. As Nigeria turns 65, the challenges are many, but so are the opportunities. Whether the north, the south, the east, or the west, we all have something to contribute. Thank you so much for such an insightful conversation. Thank you for your service and time, my co-anchors. You people are looking dashing today. Anyway, so our viewers, thank you for joining us. Thank you for commenting on this critical and important conversation. Do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow us on all our social media engagements. Remember to like and invite your friends and family. On behalf of myself and my co-anchors, we say Happy Independence Day. Let's put our hands together on deck. Goodbye.
Bye.